Alrighty, so this is video number 2 for the day. Not that I planned on doing this, but besides that point, Andre's streaming, but because he's really good with technology, you know, he went into the settings with his new mic with his little soundboard, and I don't know what he did, but he made it so that it doesn't pick up background noise. Isn't that interesting? I couldn't do that, but he did. He figured that shit out all on his own. Anyway, I'm going to call this video, I wrote it down, as the saga goes, / what it means to be a Chorney. That's my last name, Chorney. That is Ukrainian, apparently. And if you were to say that word in the language of speaking Ukraine, it would mean black. That's how you say black in Ukrainian. Chorney. Yeah. And then if we want to know what saga means in terms of, I wanted to make sure I was using that word correctly, so I took the time to Google it. A long story of heroic. Isn't that interesting? Gotta keep that good fight, right? Fight for justice, you know. I'll never forget about justice, right? Achievement, especially in a medieval prose narrative in Old Norse of Old Icelandic. A figure straight out of a Viking saga. Now you're talking. Viking. Similar words. Epic. Chronicle. Legend. Folktale. A long, involved story, account, or series of incidents launching into the saga of the engagement. Can't read that. Story. Lengthy story, statement, explanation, and honestly, it's a word I've never seen before. Let's see if I can highlight it. Can't read it because I don't, here, let's click it on and see what it does. Here we go. Rigmarole. Okay. Rigmarole. A lengthy and complicated procedure. Well, I know it as rigmarole, not rigmarole. There's a difference. R-I-G-M-A-R-O-L-E. Rigmarole. Rigmarole. No, that's not it. Rigmarole. Rigmarole. Not rig-a-roll. Rigmarole. Rigmarole. Rigamole. Anyway, you get the point. All right. And then what it means to be a Chorney. Because my son likes to throw around, oh, well, we're the Chorneys, you know. Insinuating that we stick together and that we've been through this crap with social workers before and we stood our ground, basically, 22 times in court, 15 months later. I mean, how many times do you have to go to court, right? And in the end, we got Andre back. And then the social workers came back, and then they came back again, and then Amari came, and then they came back again and again because of Amari with the seizures. was always the seizures, right, that triggered the social worker coming in. And yeah. So in light of the video that I just put up, like, I openly talk about what I'm planning, people. This is not a saga. I will do until I can't do no more. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of know what fur coat, because I got a lot of fur coats in this house. I got more than one, let's put it that way. Some of them are beat up, just meant to be chopped up and put around moccasins, or maybe you might want to make some leather gloves and put, or maybe a hat or something. I got leather fur jackets for that purpose. Plus I got fur jackets that you could wear out, right? But being that it's winter time, I'm going to need something freaking warm. So anything that can cover my legs, that's the best. And of course you want it comfortable because you have to bulk up. Like, this shit's not a joke. So therefore I'm speaking about it openly, and I'm trying to explain to Andre, whenever you feel that you got your back in a freaking corner and somebody's trying to take you out, whether they're beating the crap out of you, holding you hostage and won't let you get around them, and you just stuck there. And you're fearful, then leave. Find a way to leave. Abuse is abuse is abuse. Theft is theft is theft. Okay? It would be different if I hadn't already made the decision to sell my clothes. It would be different if I haven't already made the decision to sell my fabric. I'm just not sure how to sell it yet, where it makes sense and I'm not losing another umpteen thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay? Because the reality of it is, I spent 12 years in a yard that took away my life. And this is the end of that part of the story. The saga just keeps on going. Okay, and that's when we're going to get to the Chorney part, because it started long before me, in terms of a quote-unquote saga, with that Viking in the background saying, "You go, girl. You go, girl." Right? Okay. So I'm going to talk for a little bit, and then after that, because, I did spend, oh my God, how much money did I spend? Oh my God. Okay. Something's wrong with that brisket. It's way too much money. That's not what I've asked for. They must have gave me a substitute or something. But anyway, it better be damn good meat for $43, because, like, come on, man. So that brisket was $43. I know one leg of lamb was like 40, 39 something, so we'll just say 40. So that's 83. And then the other one was around 30, 31. So we'll just say 83, another 30. So I spent $110, and that's not including the bones yet from the lamb, which was another $15. So okay, so 80 and 30 is 110 and 15, so that's $125. So I spent $125 between the lamb and the beef that I have to do something with. Okay, I don't have a choice. Otherwise, I'd just give it to the raccoons and the coyotes and the skunks and the possums. Unless, of course, some homeless person walks by and sees a nice piece of meat sitting out there ready for the animals to snatch up on it. They can take it home. I don't care. It's fresh, right? Because if I don't process it, forget it. So I have to, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what I'm thinking. Okay? So, with that said, at the end of the video of what I'm talking about here, so this is how it's going to happen. I'm going to say what I want to say about the Chorneys and what I'm saying right now. And then to obviously turn off the camera, right? And then go get the legs of ham, go dig out the pot, big pot. Because I'm gonna, right? Get the bones, the lamb bones, put them in the pot, debone the legs, that's what I'm gonna do. Put those bones into the pot, and I'm just gonna cook them up just with, you know, about an inch of water over above them, not too much. I'm not looking for a big, I'm just looking for a little bit, right? And then since I'm cutting up that leg, I'll just cut it into chunks. About an inch or so, right? Easy peasy. And I'll put that in the fridge, all right? And then I'll deal with it tomorrow, right? And as I'm, you know, processing everything that I'm processing in my head, it doesn't matter what it is, doing jars, worrying about social workers, thinking about the rain coming with the garage flooding, you know, doing the laundry, hanging it up all over the place, worried about the social workers are gonna come, and then see freaking the ghost back in here, right? Because everything's starting to hang, eh? You know what I'm saying? And I have a bunch of socks, bagfuls of this, like 4 bags full of socks. I told Tisha, once I wash all the socks and Under and I sort out the socks, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of socks for the kids. Because oftentimes they're running around with no socks, and with winter coming, oh no. I said, listen, it doesn't matter, you know, they're clean, they can run around on the carpet with it, right? Because winter's coming. All right, so I washed socks, and first load, Andre took them downstairs and put them in the dryer. But this load this morning, I got them spread out on my table. I lay down a towel over a bunch of shit, and then just got these socks all over the place, right? Social worker's gonna, by Thursday, I have to let them dry. It might take until Thursday or Friday to completely dry them, right? You know, and he'll be like, what are socks on the table? You're like, shh, whatever. And of course I'll still be washing because, you know, Mari's leaking out all the time. As fast as we're changing everything, the next day we're changing it all over again. We're experimenting with these Pampers. Andre said, I'm going to put a Pamper on first, Nana. Then the diaper. I said, well, yeah, anything, just to see if it works, right? This Houdini shit, pulling, you know, whipping it out like that, it didn't work. Maybe if you put the pull-up in first, and then the diaper over it, right? Clearly he'll be able to rip open the diaper. What he'll do with that pull-up, who knows? Anything's possible with Mari. I'm just saying, right? So, okay, so after the video, after this part of the video, you know, I'll get everything ready. You know, show you that. I'm just gonna show you the leg lamb, right? And open it up. I'm gonna feel it, see how fatty it is, and I'm gonna look for my pumpkin knives. Oh yeah, I think that will work the best. I got other knives, but I can't. You know, maybe I can find a couple of other ones to try. Either or, we're gonna debone it and put it in the pot with the bones, and then I'll cut the brisket in half, and then at the end, like this is for the end of the video. That's what I'm gonna do, right? And then I bought these beautiful enamel cast iron. I don't know what they're called, but they're quite big. But they're like this, right? So I kind of want to, well, maybe I'll cook all the meat up. I'll see how big that, I haven't used it yet. I bought 2 of them for my PC points. I had to buy kitchen stuff. I had to buy $100 worth of kitchen stuff in order to get $25 back. I thought that was worth it. And then in those days I was buying little cast irons to try, you know, for Amari. And I thought, oh, okay, well, here's an opportunity to, you know, so I picked up those, and I haven't used them yet. You can put them in the oven. I want to make bread buns in them, or like a form of a biscuit or something, right? So 2 is good because you can put both in the oven at the same time if you wanted to. Okay. Well, today we're going to try 1 just for the fun of it, just to see, right, if we like it. And I'm going to, depending on how big it is, to keep it easy on myself, I mean, obviously I'll take off probably, it depends how fatty that meat is. That meat doesn't look like it's too fatty. So depending on how fatty that meat is with that brisket, I'm either just going to cut it into chunks and I'm going to fry it. I got bacon grease. I'm just going to fry it in bacon grease. That's it. This is the seasoning, y'all. And we'll see what we get. The lid on and a nice hot enamel brand new cast iron. Oh yeah, probably be pretty good. Oh yes, and I got to cook up liver, but I can do that tomorrow. I ain't cooking up liver today. Oh no, I'm too angry. Oh, you don't even know. I'm so angry. Okay, and that will be the end of the video. With that brisket frying in that enamel cast iron. It's kind of like a little Dutch oven, but only it's not high. It's like this, right? It's different, right? But for now, I want to talk about what it means to be a Chorney. When my son says we're the Chorneys, because what we got going on here is pitting one against the other. And because there was already problems in the house, I don't want to say with authority, but it kind of boils down to that, because my son, that man, seems to think because he's male, I suppose bigger than me, feels entitled that I owe him something as a mother. So he feels entitled to take over the authority of the house as if it was his house versus my house as his parent and his birth parent. I'm more than a parent. I birthed them. There's a difference between sperm, eggs, and the birthing process. Okay? So, with that said, it's like I told him, you've already destroyed my life. You continue to destroy my life. Every time you go in for want to gimme, take, throw it out, this, whatever, I don't care what the excuse is. It's all theft in my mind. Okay? And he has no right to do it and to continue to do it. But now that he's got, what is that called? An alliance. He has an alliance with the social worker, because they're on that bandwagon too. Because they know, they watch my videos, and they're going for fucking, they're punishing me because of the layout of the house. They're punishing me because of the layout of the house in terms of, well, if there was a fire, how many exits can you get out of, right? Okay, fair enough. When I used to sleep in that room with the kids, I was always worried about a fire breaking out here and never being able to open the door because of the backdraft or the whoosh of toxic fumes coming in, and then trying to get the kids from there down the hall, out the front door as flames are and smoke and okay, no, I'd have to go out the window, but it's kind of hard though, because you got a bunk bed with the bunk bed, which leaves you just a very small crawl space for the bottom bunk, and then the top bunk, there's just a small crawl space to get out, which is even higher than from the windowsill. Okay? So, I don't know. We adapted around Amari's special needs. They're punishing us for that. It's not our fault that Amari's the way he is. But we don't want to wake up in the morning and find him dead because he was sleeping by himself. Or, yeah, basically. Or we put him down to take a nap and he decided he didn't want a nap and he played and we just took it for granted that he was just playing. And then we went in to check on him and he was dead. Because he choked on having a seizure and, puking and who knows. If you're not there to stop it and prevent it from happening and clean up and try and make him to come out of it or whatever it is that you do with that heart of steel, which comes from the Chorney gene. Because isn't that what I'm supposed to be talking about? What it means to be a Chorney? Well, if I had to put my finger on it, I'd say my role model would be my grandfather in terms of what it means to be a Chorney. You want to know why? Because he worked hard out in the farms. After my grandmother and him sold the farms, they went into the city or the town or wherever they were, and they opened up a kitchen and like a cafe, and they did that for years and years and years and years. Okay? And then finally they broke up. Okay, it happens. My mother took my grandmother to Victoria and helped my grandmother to buy a house. And my grandmother, right up until old age, always said that she was glad that my mother did that. It was the best thing for my grandmother. But it was my mother who did that. So that's a Chorney. Okay? And when she needed paint and wallpaper and, you know, her bathtub was ready to cave through the floor because the boards holding up the bathtub were all rotten, it was my mother that came in with her crew and fixed it for my grandmother. When my grandmother was getting pressure for her kids to move into into my grandmother's basement, which was an unfinished basement, right? Andre, quiet. What do you call it? It was my mother who came in with her crew and built the suite in the basement for my grandmother, because my mother had already done things like that in Alberta before we came back. Okay? I'm just saying. So it wasn't just painting and putting wallpaper, it was like major renovations. All right. Well, my grandfather stayed in Alberta. Andre! Shh! Andre! Where my grandfather stayed in Alberta, and he used to work the steam baths. And in those days, I don't know if they're still up and running, but you could almost say they were barbaric in terms of, like, if you want to take a Chorney to be a Viking, or at least have that little bit of maybe, DNA inside of them or something, right? Right? Then where he worked was kind of like that, because when you think of a ancient castle that's made out of stone, well, that's basically what those steam baths were like. They didn't have painted walls. It was stone walls, like, throughout the whole thing, because they had, like, different rooms, because I used to play there when my mom would send me on an airplane to go fly to my grandfather, and my grandfather would keep me for a few weeks. Yeah. And he had to work, so he'd bring me to work, and then he'd give me money and say, go to the Army and Navy, Old Navy or whatever, it's like a department, it's not like a store, like a Zeller's or a Bay or an Eaton's, or it was just some kind of store that was close by. And I'd go with this money, and oh God, people, how old would I have been? Like, seriously, 8, 9, 10, 7, maybe even then, 7, I'm 8 for sure, 9, oh yeah, easy. And he'd take me to work in this castle-like environment that had different rooms, because it was a steam bath. So people could go to different rooms, right? And big open with, cement floors and cement walls. And just, it wasn't, with it steamy, and a locker room and stuff. And he used to, and he had cans. This is why I have cans. I have lots of cans in my house. Wait until I leave. These kids will be like, how many cans does that mom need? Well, there's always a there's a kinder surprise in those cans. Because my grandfather would open up his cans, and what would be in there? Oh, because he worked in a steam bath, and a lot of people were going in and out, which I think were mostly men, if not all men. I can't ever remember seeing a woman. No, there's no woman that stands out outside of my grandfather's companion, who never was at the steam bath. It was just, he had to go to work, and he brought me with him. And I'd walk, I don't know. I guess maybe walking with him as he was cleaning up and everything was shutting down, because I don't remember a lot of people around. I just remember the rooms and, right, being with him and him showing me the cans and giving me money. You go buy yourself some Christmas gifts, because it'd be Christmas time, right? And I'd go to the store all by myself and look in the aisles, and I'd come home with a big stack of a whole bunch of stuff, and oh yeah. And then, you know, he gave me a few trinkets from his cans, and because he worked in the steam bath, it was men's watches and that kind of stuff. Just things that men left behind. Yeah. Maybe women were going there, I don't know. But it was mostly men. And he, you know, he'd sit behind a desk. I'd be behind their desks with him as people were coming. That I remember. Because I remember it's like a little office. Only, you know, when you get into the steam bath part of it, it all becomes like you were in a castle. Yeah. Because it was big rooms. And then changing rooms and stuff. So that's to me. And then he played I don't know what, it's a Ukrainian instrument, and it has many strings on it. And these little, you know, doohickey things. And he, oh yeah. Well, my uncles, they play harmonica. Rhea, I think, stole my harmonica, and the I bought a, you know, you put it around your head and you put your harmonica on it. I can't find them. I can't find them. But after she did what she did with her smash and grab shit in my bedroom, I found a pick on the floor, like a guitar pick, up by where that cowhide was. But I can't find my $300 harmonica. $300 harmonica, or the contraption that holds it in place so that if I'm playing a guitar, I can play the harmonica. I haven't found it yet. If I find it, I'll let you know. And that's assuming I'm not ran out of my house. Okay? Being that we're talking about the Chorneys here. Alright. So, after a while, you know, obviously I grew up, but I remember I was there when he died, which is kind of after everything I've been through in terms of so much death around me with my own family and the shenanigans that go around that death. I look back and I'm wondering if maybe my grandfather wasn't murdered, considering all things said. And that's based on what I know today. What happened to ShaMay's body, what happened to Ciera's body. You can pretty much say what happened to Joan. John and I, we witnessed it, no denying it. It's a fact. They cut off the water, right? And she died. What happened to Uncle John, right? Cut him off from his family, tucked him away like a dirty secret, and he died one day on the 3-year, which is a devil mark, before he went into the hospital. In terms of, he went in on January 13th, something like that, and he died on January 12th, one day before, 3 years after they medically kidnapped him and robbed him of his money and destroyed his life and then locked him away. Okay, that's death. There is no statute of limitation on murder. Some murders are slow, some are quick. What happened to Amari? Because there's no justice there. What's happening to Andre? Because I do feel that he's being targeted. He's been used as a tool. as soon as they got involved. And I don't think everything meets the eye. Because I know enough about psychology and yada 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 yada. When you split a child's brain into two through trauma, however that trauma comes in, and then you implant triggers so that they can be utilized at a later date through some government I don't know. Gotta be careful what you say on YouTube. Because clearly the only people that could do that would be the government and their workers. To what end and to what degree, I don't know. But it's nothing new under the sun, that's for sure. And for everyone to think that the government has stopped that crap, what they used to do back in the day, when they tried to control people's minds, knowing what they know now, and it's a fact, if you traumatize kids enough, you split their brains. Some of them are prone to split personalities, blah, 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 or whatever, and they get, I don't know how they implant the triggers, but, you know, it's all nefarious. So anyway, I don't even know what that was about. It's all about being a Chorney, right? I lost my train of thought because... Oh yes, my grandfather. So, just based on what's happened to my family, and when my grandfather was on his deathbed at the hospital, okay? He was 77 years old, died on the 7th month, which would have been in July. And there was another 7 in there, I'm not sure exactly, so I'm not going to say exactly if it was the 17th or the 7th, or the 27th, because it was like coming in on 7s. That was the key, coming in on 7s. Well, I don't know. I don't know if he had a heart attack or something like that, but that's what put him in the hospital. And I do remember him on, I suppose, on life support or something like that, in terms of, like, you know how you're passed out and you got all that. Okay, I remember that. And then I remember going back to the hospital a week or two later, or whatever it was, like a week or so, right? Within a week, you know, just, you know how it is. You're not there every day, right? And he was having a good day. So I guess he was in and out, just kind of whatever. And I seen him, and he was sitting up. He was jovial, being his happy self. You right? Da 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 da. The next day he died. They said that whatever he was doing that day, looking good, feeling good, acting like his normal self, clearly wasn't it. Because he died the next day. So I always, in the back of my mind, have been suspicious about that. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it was too cut and dry. Okay, but what could I do? I was young. I hadn't even had any kids yet. So, maybe 17? No, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'd have to see if I could figure that out. But maybe younger, maybe even younger than that. Like maybe I don't know. 12, 11? No. I don't know. I'd have to really stop and think about that. Anyway, so the rumor became, and the rumor was, that my grandfather was a warlock. When I heard my family talking about that, the Chorneys, but it had already been suggested even long before that, right? Because I had a cousin that liked to do drugs. acid and speed and whatever, psychedelic drugs, just those kind of drugs. And he became a devil worshiper. Yeah. And then he tried to put a curse on my grandma. And I was, oh my God. That's when I was kind of living around at that time, because I stayed a little bit of time with her. Right? I was about 16, right? Because I'd already been out on my own and everything. And yeah, it was, okay. So anyway, I was with my grandma, and he showed up. And my mom had already done the suite for her, right? And we were in the basement. I don't know if my aunt was living down there, my Auntie Jerry, and I was down there doing her dishes. I would have been like 16. Yeah, I would have been 16, for sure. Because that was the only time I lived with my grandma, and that was just for a very short period of time. 6 months or something like that. And he wanted her house. He wanted her money. And we were in the basement. I'm pretty sure my aunt was living down there. Okay, you're getting louder. Stop it. Hey, you don't want me talking loud. Shut up. You want to start stirring Amari, Andre. I don't want him sleeping too long. Andre. Andre. What? Start waking up Amari. We don't want him sleeping too long. And he wanted her money. He was going to make her die. That's what he was saying. I'm going to curse her. I want her, blah, blah, blah. I said, you're nuts. No, I got powers. I'm a warlock. Grandfather was a warlock. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, then I'm a witch. Yeah. I said, if that's the case, then I'm a witch. Yeah. And I stood my ground right then and there. I said, well, before you can get to Grandma, you have to go through me. Yeah, so bring it on, right now. Or watch your step. And he backed off. Grandma didn't die. But everybody did talk about my grandfather being a warlock, and had been a warlock for a long, long time. Just nobody knew about it except for a few. And the secret got out after he died. Right? So that's, right? So anyway, when he died though, it was he was sitting there and it was just night and day. To which I've always never felt comfortable with it. And now, after all these years going through what I've been through with my family, my loved ones, you know what? I wouldn't put it past those people in those days doing what they're doing today, people, in terms of pulling the plug. Committing heinous crimes, doing illegal organ harvesting, and the whole 9 yards, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it's too convenient for those individuals to do that stuff and not get caught with it. Not saying that they took a 77-year-old man's organs out of him, but maybe they just didn't want to pay his pension plans anymore. Who knows, right? Like they did with Joan. Joan didn't need to die. I don't know. I don't think so, people. Like I said, when Uncle John and I figured it out, it was too late. Because I was looking at it. Every time, because I was bringing him every day. Right? And then I'd just leave him. I wouldn't hang around in there, right? You know what I mean? And gave him privacy with his wife. And I'd go into the common area and sit there and work on the non-profit books. I used to sit there at the old folks' home, Joan, as they were killing Joan. I was sitting there working on the non-profit books as John is trying to console her. And then I'd come in, right, after a couple, 2-3 hours, I'd say, okay, John, you want to go? And I'd look at the IV. We're just, how you randomly do that, right? After a few days, I'm like, right? It didn't move. It took me 3 days to realize that it didn't move, and by then it was too late. She died. So maybe that's what happened to my grandfather. Maybe they took him out, gave him too much medication or something. So, if there's any truth to him being a warlock, I can't say I seen his magic when he was alive. If I had to look back, and when did he, except for maybe the watches, Now there's a wizard for you. My grandfather had he had cans full of freaking watches. And wizards, they like their hourglasses. That's time. And watches. The old ones, you know, the ones on a chain. And they, right? I have one of them somewhere. I should have one or two. One for sure. I think one got stolen, and then I went off and bought another one. And it's in my wherever. That is probably safe, but who knows? Ria was getting into areas that she shouldn't have been getting into. And I'm pretty sure she stole my harmonica and the thing and the bag that went with it, or she took it out of the bag, because I did find a bag in there with guitar stuff, but no, not what I'm looking for, and I can't find the harmonica anywhere in the house, but I did find that pick right by the floor where my cowhides were. Yeah. So I know she got into it. But in terms of, like, my grandfather being a wizard, or being, well, I could see maybe him being a wizard, which is kind of like a warlock, with all those watches that he had. And watch straps, too, right? It was either watches, a whole bunch of watch straps, and just stuff like that. You know, a few other odds and ends. Cans full. So when my kids, they open and I'll be gone, it'll be another can. Look, how many cans does Nana need? Mom need? Well, there's probably, I don't know, there's a lot of cans. But every can is a Kinder Surprise, so it's not so bad. So, with that, you know, and then I look at my uncles. If I had to say who's my next role model, besides my grandmother. Because my grandmother, I mean, she had her house right up until age over, I don't know how old she was when she sold it. It was her kids that made her sell it, though. Yeah, not my mom. My mom wanted her to keep it. But it was my aunties, and my uncles who bullied her to sell it. And then, of course, once she sold it, they wanted their share. But my mom died 8 months before she sold it. And then when it came time to giving my mother's share to me and my brother, because my mother died, my aunts and uncles told my grandma that she couldn't do that because I was nothing but a grandchild. You know, my brother was a grandson and I was a granddaughter, and therefore we didn't qualify to have what my mom had, and to give it to them, to divide it between them. But my grandmother felt guilty and gave me $1,000 and gave my brother $1,000, who by this time was like already schizophrenic. Seriously. Where I took that $1,000 and I bought myself a $600 Toyota Corolla and jumped on the ferry with my 2 kids and came to Vancouver to start a business. Yeah. And had a little shipping container with my stuff in it shipped over to a place that I had already rented before I got on the ferry. Well, my grandmother, because I was told I needed to go and support myself and do all this, nobody wanted to help me. We already heard me talk about that before. And then my grandmother, because she sold her house, didn't have a house no more, moved into an apartment, and then my aunts and uncles basically abandoned her. That's what happened. Yeah. Where I should have stayed and helped her. But because nobody wanted to help me, and I had 2 kids, and I was just their damn beating board. Oh, and she's a welfare mom. You know, she got little black kids, and, you know, and she didn't marry, and you know, have the poodle on the side with the perfect husband, and, you know, and be a middle-class income, and so therefore we'll just kick her around like the black sheep that she is, because my mom was the black sheep, too, as well as my brother. So we all kind of were one bird's flock together. So I said, to hell with this shit. I gotta go, Grandma. I'm sorry. I have to, because I was learning how to sew, and there wasn't enough dancers And I tried to start a business in Victoria, and the government took it away from me, and I just had to go, and I went, and I did. I got better at sewing as I tried, but I was too young and too dumb. But anyway, my grandma lived right up until age 86 in that apartment all by herself. Yeah. And then because she had intestine problems, get constipated, she went to the hospital, sitting there on a freaking bed, waiting for it to be seen, and it exploded and she fell over and she was dead there on the floor. That's how she died. Where my uncles, they were strong men, top-notch #1 car salesmen in all of Alberta between the two of them. But they both liked to drink, which wasn't bad for me because I wasn't around it, right? But of course, drinking brings domestic violence and blah, 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 right? So in the end, they got divorced, and both of them ended up living in that basement in my grandmother's house that my mother built for her. Yeah. Including my aunt, Jerry. 3 of them lived in there. And they can thank my mom for that. As they're rolling around in their graves right now, because I'm talking about them. Who would have known that the Chorney family would be going down in history? Just saying. So for me, a Chorney, well, the strongest of the strong is my grandfather, ultimately. And then, of course, my grandmother, because she was there. I don't know. For me, it's like the longest. Because, Tisha asked me, like, how did you speak German when you were little, Mom? Because she said that's all you spoke. Well, just when we were going to this meeting to go see these women. I don't know how that subject came up. And I said, well, I guess because I was in foster care. Where else would I learn how to speak German? Where else? No other place. Nobody in my family speaks German, right? And when I got to my grandmother's at age 5, yeah, that's all I could speak was German. And my grandmother told me several times. It took me a while to learn English. And I struggled with the writing part for a long time. But I had a knack for wanting to write. So it was the foundation that really helped me to develop English, I guess you could say, written skills. Yeah. Maybe it has something to do because English is not my first language. No. So she was there for me there. My mother built me this huge ass playhouse and got me a white rabbit. And the rabbit used to hop around the yard all the time. I'd be go catch it. I remember climbing the tree. Grandma would be like this, and I'd be yelling. I don't remember yelling at her in German, but she told me I used to climb the tree, right? And I do remember the tree, being up in the tree. And she like, come on. And I'm like, and I'm screaming back in German, and she don't know what I'm saying, but I'm not getting down out of that tree. I'm staying in the tree. Right? So, and then just right up until I got brave. I mean, in and out. Just she's that I guess in an easy term, role model. She's that role model that wasn't always in my life, but as far back as I can go, she was there first. I remember my grandmother more than I remember my mother at age 5. Although I know my mother was the one who built the playhouse for me. And it was a big-ass playhouse. That's why I was built all the time building for my kids. because it's already in my head, right? And I wanted them to have what I had when I was young. And she brought me the rabbit. My grandmother didn't like it, but my mom said, no, she needs it, right? Yeah. So she was always there over the years as a staple, right? My grandfather was just a part of it until he died, right? But he's the strongest because he had me among stone. Because those rooms, like they were bathhouses, had stones, the color of stones, bricks, cement, and because of the part of town that it was in Alberta and Edmonton, they are like 100 years old. So you can only imagine how they were built, right? And how they were functioning when it came to a steam bathhouse with steam from. You can't even call them a room. They look more like a dungeon, but they're not dungeons. They're steam rooms. But the architect brings it to that medieval, yeah, really, medieval era to which what we just read, right? With the saga. Okay. So it'd be my grandfather first, then my grandmother. If I had to choose between which uncle was the strongest, it's hard to say because it wouldn't be fair. Because everybody's an individual, and so let's put it this way. I admired my Uncle Nick because he was a funny guy. Could crack joke after joke. Chorneys like to crack jokes. Trust me. They don't quit when they're on a roll. And he was a hard worker. Never hurt me. Was there for my mom as a brother. Whatever. So, where my Uncle Harry, see how my hair comes out, wasn't in my life as much as my Uncle Nick, but it was my Uncle Harry who came by to say goodbye to me on the night that he died. When he was on my chest, pushing on me. I gotta go. I'm like, okay, go. No, I gotta go, really, I gotta go. Okay, go. I woke up in the morning, I got a phone call, Uncle Harry died. So he came by to say goodbye. So they're equal in terms of strength, in my opinion. Because they both taught me something. Yeah. I think you could say that my Uncle Nick taught me that it's okay to trust men and that you can trust men. In terms of he never did anything to hurt me. Where my Uncle Harry taught me that there is an afterlife. Right? A soul. And my grandmother, when she died, she took me up to heaven, showed me where she was going to be at, told me she wasn't living with all her kids, and that she just wanted me to know that she was all right and happy up there, and that I needed to go back down, and that she'd see me again. And I woke up in the morning, and I got a phone call, and I found out that my grandmother died that night when I was sleeping. So that's two in my family that came back to say goodbye to me for whatever reason. Yeah. So, is that a Chorney thing? I don't know.
Bottom, bottom, bottom. Ah.
My aunt, Jerry, honestly reminds me of a lot of these women that I come into contact with over the years within my own life, even when I was younger, where they're jealous of you, spiteful of you, just think they're better than you. Now, mind you, she was my aunt. She was older than me, and I'm supposed to show respect to my elders, to which I did. But I don't know. For as much as she put on the act of being the middle class professional, hold it down, got it all together, make, blah. In the end, her life amounted out to nothing, to which is a huge disappointment. But when you look back, like, talk about being depressed. She'd give me $20 to clean her dishes. Shut up! Do you want to start waking up Amari? He's sleeping too long.
Sure.
Yeah, because he'll be up if...
Waking up himself.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Give me $20 to wash her dishes, and it would be every damn dish in the house, in the stove, in the cupboards, under the sink, all dirty. All over the counter, everywhere. Yeah. Because she just wouldn't do it. And it's gross. But anyway. And then, yeah, she lost her kids and everything. Died probably at the bingo table. Who knows? Because I'm sure she's dead by now. So no real impact there. Just a Karen. Ultimately, she was nothing more than a Karen. Right? And no substance. My Aunt Noreen, well, if anything, she was a coward. Okay? And the reason I say that is because she didn't stand for nothing. The only thing she stood up for was being a Jehovah's Witness. And I don't know. Just... my Uncle George looked after her right up until she died. She was a stay-at-home mom, but they ended up sleeping in separate rooms. He ended up hooking up with some woman up in Kamloops and was having an affair on her, and yada-yada. But my aunt was fine with that, I suppose, because she didn't go anywhere. And she just died. Just 60 years old, and one day had a heart attack, and that was it. She was gone. So no impact there. Outside of to say that she was a loyal wife to the man that she married. As I doubt she ever cheated on him. Right? He cheated on her, but she didn't cheat on him. Why would she? She got what she wanted. She had a house, I remember 2 big deep freezes full of food. Yeah, in those days, that's the way it was. One income could do all that. And I must have stayed with them for a little while when I got back from wherever I was, because I remember being with them. And they used to take me out and take me, like, for an ice cream and that kind of thing, right? And it was fun. I liked that. So, but that wasn't because of my aunt. That was because of my Uncle George, who wasn't blood related. He married into the family. Yeah. But not my aunt. She was a prude and prissy. Just... hell, we'd get together at Christmas time. She didn't drink. Neither did Grandma, but Grandma, she always liked to get a little sip on when she could. And she never really, were my aunt, Auntie Noreen. Oh my God. She never drank. She was Jehovah's Witness. Or whatever religion she was at that time, but mainly Jehovah's Witness. Because they had a religion and they went to another religion, and then, so anyway, what do you call it? Well, at Christmas time, she'd have a couple sips of something. I don't know what the hell they were drinking, but, that kind of person. right? Like it was the biggest sin on the planet or something. Or my grandmother would be like, nah, it's Christmas time, it's okay, I don't drink. I can have a little sip now, and everybody be giggling and cracking their jokes. Yeah, but yeah, no, didn't stand for nothing. No, so the only three really were well, I suppose my grandmother, I don't know. My grandmother, she played the safe card. She old school. You know, she did what society as a rule told her to do, and she did it. And she didn't know how to break out of that mold in terms of, you know, being more open-minded. She was just more resigned to live responsibly, right? Not be a criminal, right? And read the Bible. And I guess hope to get up to heaven after you're gone. Now, that's basically it. But that's what I mean. She was the more... Where I have just that much with my grandfather. Because he died all of a sudden, just like that. But he's the one that makes the biggest impact in my brain, because I'm walking at the bathhouse with him. Because I'd walk with him. And I'd go from, right, to room to room to room. And then we'd sit in his little office, and that's when he'd pull out his cans. And I'd get to play with them. Yeah. Or he'd give me money, and I'd leave the building, and I'd go by, and I'd come back, and it was like bricks. The building itself. And then go down, and then you're into the bathhouse. And it was big. It was big. Yeah. Maybe that's why I do walkways without ever doing a walkway. In terms of what I did out in the yard. It takes a lot of oomph to do that stuff. Right? Especially if you don't know what you're doing. I did it twice in the front. Not just once, but 2 times. Don't forget, they ripped it up the first one. And I even got some going on in the back. Probably has something to do with my grandfather. So, with all that, I don't know, maybe that's where my spirit comes from, people. Yeah. It's going to come from somewhere. Chorneys don't back down when it's important. At least in my mind. Not that I'm proud to be a Chorney, because a lot of Chorneys are racists. But you're going to get that anywhere you go. So, it doesn't matter who you are. It's going to come around. What comes around goes around. Racism does that from group to group to group to group. That's why everybody's flocking together when they're all one bird. Right? You know? You know, birds of a feather flock together. You got the feathers over here, the feathers over there, the feathers over there, and feathers. Nobody's racist. Not one soul out of all those people. Only you. Only you. So anyway, I am now going to end. So, okay, so what is the point? What was the point? I had to tell you all that because when my son says, this is the point. Well, we're the Chorneys. And he's not coming out and saying it, but we're going to stick together, right? That's something Uncle John would say, because he'd always say, oh, we're going to stick together. We're a family, stick together. Didn't matter what the crisis was or whatever. It's always stick together. We're a family. Okay. Mark Kane says, well, we're the Chorneys, all right. And it doesn't really say we're going to stick together or whatever, but that's what he's insinuating, right? Okay, but On what terms? Your terms or my terms? Because if it's on your terms, then you're not sticking together, because I'm the leader of the pack, and that's just the bottom line. My belongings, my right. But if you're siding with hoodlums that want to legalize theft on a whole new level, right, and hide under legislation just so that you can get your way, as you disrespect me, yada yada, put me in a position where I feel like I'm dying more faster than I would if I was at peace with myself and just keep that steady pace and do what I can in a day without guilt tripping and whatever this bully behavior being directed at me right now makes me feel. You're not being a Chorney, because you're not standing up for anything. Because if I don't stand up for my rights, what makes you think they're not going to come in and start up with this crap after I'm gone and expect you to get rid of your shit just so that you can watch Amari? When they're not even watching Amari. And anything that they got to offer when it comes to watching Amari is freaking barbaric. In terms of putting him in a metal crib with padding, or you'd have to use metal rails around some kind of mattress all the way around with padding. Yada yada yada. In order to look after him, where you don't have to be there 24/7. And you know no foster care parent ain't going to want to have Amari up in their mix 24/7. So, it's a given. That's exactly where they're going to end up putting him. If they can get their hands on him. If I leave, they can give him to Marcane. And then Marcane can find out the hard way. Okay, so we can do this. No matter how I feel. Or what I can or cannot see. Huh. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the big pot out. And that brand new skillet. Hold on. Okay, you can see better than me. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just doing... Okay, so that's two separate freaking cast iron things. And look, another two. I was thinking to give one of them to one of my kids, but for all the riff-raff shit that I go through with them, I've been holding out. Yeah. I'm gonna try and use before I go away. I haven't used them yet. This is the one I want. I want to try this one. Okay, but I had to bring them all out because I haven't used them. I bought them, I put them away, but of course. All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. Alright, so breathe. Alright, so we got this one. Look at that. That's nice. What's nice about this one, if I remember correctly, is the inside. It has a special kind of coating. That, and there's spiders in the cupboard. Ugh, webs everywhere. It has a special coating on it that's not enamel. Okay, so there's that. And it's a good brand. It's a brand name. I don't know if it says it here on the lid. As if I could read it. La Cuisine. La Cuisine. So it's up to code when it comes to no lead. Right? Brand new. Haven't even used it yet. This one I think I used once already. Yeah, this one's nice. Right? This is Lodge. You can trust Lodge. Okay, Lodge is good too. And it's I think a 5-quart or something like that. It was nice, but that's not the one I want. And I think I've already used that one once. I'll put that back. These are the ones I want to use. One of these ones. They're both the same. They were supposed to be different sizes, but they both came in large. And I bought them because if I spent $100 on home goods, like home appliances, dishes, whatever, right, I'd get $25 back on my PC points, and I thought that was a good deal. So one of these alone, I think were like $60. Nothing, right? I bought 2 of them. Because they were supposed to be different sizes, but they just looked like they gave me the same size. So look at the color on it. Yeah, that will make me feel good. And look at the size of the lid. It's huge. Has the directions in it, little things to store or whatever. And what I mean, you can make your buns in here. You can bake them. Then you can sprinkle on some cheese with a bit of gravy or something. Just put it quickly under the oven, and oh man, it'd be so good. There's so many things you could do with this thing. Well, today we're going to fry that beef brisket in it. It has a flat, smooth enamel surface and a lid. And the lid, because it has these things in them, do you see those little spikes? What happens is when the moisture goes up, it accumulates on the spikes.
Excuse me.
Or whatever these things are. These ones aren't spikes, but either or. The condensation accumulates on the lid. The water pools around these so that when it starts to drip back down, it drips down evenly throughout the whole whatever it is that you're cooking. That's the purpose of those. And yeah, I have 2 of them here. And I'm trying to tell myself, just keep them. When Andre and you finally get to do what you want to do in a non-functioning kitchen when it comes to using this kind of stuff to make really interesting food, you have them. I don't know. I didn't realize they're so big. I don't know if you can get 2 of them in at one time. But even if you had one on the stove cooking and one in the oven cooking, you know, you could still do it, right? It's such a pretty color, too. When I die, or when I leave, they can throw it in the garbage. Give it to the social workers. Let them take it home. What do you think? Okay, so we're going to turn this on for a minute. Now, I went back on to Canadian Superstore. Oh, these glasses no good. I went back to Canadian Superstore, and they changed the price. I read, and I double-checked it before I ordered it yesterday. Okay? It was $29. That's why I bought it. For 2.5 or so kg, which worked out at about $7.99 or $6.99 or something like that per pound, right? And I thought, okay, I get 2.5, 5 pounds. I worked it out to about 5 pounds, right? So, anyway, they changed it. They put it at $11. I don't know if it was $7.99, $5.99, $6.99. It was around $6.99, $7.99, something like that. For between 2 to 2.5 pounds or 3 pounds or something like that. And I thought that's okay. I mean kg, and then I broke it up into pounds. So I was supposed to get at least 4 pounds and a bit. And I thought, okay, I can deal with that, right? Because you're getting a lot of fat with it too, right? So anyway, they changed it. They changed it to $11.99 a pound for 1 point something 2 kg up to whatever. No, it's $11.99 a pound or $15.99 a pound. Hold on a minute. Okay, well, it's on my mind. This is how it's reading right now $11.99 a pound at $29 for the average weight of 1.131 kg, which would be 2 pounds and a bit. That's not what I read yesterday. It was $29 or whatever, yeah, 29 something for $7.99, maybe $6.99 at 2.5 / maybe up to 3 kg. So when you order online and they say it's subject to change the price, that's what they did. Whoa. Okay, you're heating up fast and now you're spitting. Nice. What that is some old bacon grease that... You're supposed to heat this shit up first. Oh, you know what? I forgot to dry the pan. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so I ruined the first cast iron one. Okay. Forgot about that. Hot and cold. Okay. So I got cheated. I almost want to phone up and complain tomorrow, and I should. But they'll say, oh, it's subject to change. So the next time I do this, if I do it again, I'm going to do a copy and paste on it in terms of a picture. $43. You could make bacon with that. But that's not what I'm going to do. Highly disappointed. When they had it on sale in those big ass chunks, boy, that was a good deal. I'm glad I bought it when I had a chance. Yup. And if I ever do this again, I don't care what the beef is. I'll either write down the price and keep an eye on it, or, I don't know which is the better knife here, or take a picture of it through paint, because I feel like the company tricked me, because I know for a fact, because I went back and I read it. I had to really stop and think about it. I wanted hamburger, but they were charging way too much. And I thought, well, if I'm going to get meat, I would prefer meat. And this was reasonably priced at the time for the amount in terms of weight. Because if it was going to be reading in it, I wouldn't have bought it. There, this is the better one. Here we go. So, I'm not sure if I should bread this. I don't think I should. I don't think you're supposed to do that with brisket. You're supposed to slow cook it, really. I'm debating whether I should put Worcestershire sauce on it, but I don't think so. I'm trying to remember what I did with the last one. I don't remember. I'd have to watch my video because it was so good. Oh, man. So good. So I'm just going to do it this way. I got 4 pieces of meat. Okay. Got that on low now. It's hot. I'm just going to put some straight up my highs. I like it. Seasoning salt on it. Just a bit. Just flip it over. And then I'm going to just put it in there. After I rub this all in, that's good enough for me. Can always add more stuff later, which I may or may not do. I don't know. I'm going to have to cook this slow for quite a few hours. That's the way I'm going to do it. Obviously, I can't use my oven, so that's okay. I don't mind. That's another day. And then I'm just going to rub that stuff in. And I'm just going to put it in there. Yeah. Turn up the heat now. Kind of needs more oil. But then my stove is crooked. Just move the pan. And now what I want to do, yeah, definitely freaking crooked here. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to keep moving the pan around because all the grease is pooling that way. So every minute or so. And I got more bacon. I'm using this part of my hand in here. I get some more bacon fat. Hold on. Yeah, I need to complain to the company about that. $29 is a whole lot different than $43. Do you see what $43 got me? Not very much. That's stupid. Okay. I'm glad I did all the home canned good things, stuff that I did back in the day. You don't even know. Okay, so did you see how I did that? Just turn it around. Okay, and then I put some of that in there. It's organic salt with herbs and all that crap. And then we've got the bones that we're going to put in the pot here in a minute. And then we're going to start with the deboning the legs and get them ready for the pot. As this is like this, and then it's cook it and flip it, cook it, flip it, cook it, flip it. And then, obviously I wish I could see better, but it is what it is. This is where I don't see color, so I can't see how brown it is and all that crap, but whatever. We'll just fake the funk. Do all sides. As best as you can. Right? Maybe even turn, well, no, we'll just let it heat up slowly, okay? And then, oh, there was something I was going to say. I don't know what it was. I need this for the leg. So, put you right there. Oh yeah, as I was looking for this cast iron, I don't know what it's called. I came across this. Now I have bigger jars than pint size. 2017, and that's blackberry juice. So I'm going to leave that out, and I think I'm going to try and make a juice with this, being that my time is running out to do these things. Because if I leave, this is the kind of stuff I'll be walking away from. And of course, it seems I'm the only person that values it. And that's the problem. So I am going to make blackberry, and you know, I wanted to use, I bought a whole bunch of cans of cranberries. Yeah, like there's a whole bunch downstairs that I can't get to. I can probably find one can down the hall, because I bought them for the high vitamin C count, so that at some point when I have time and get my kitchen in order, my dysfunctional kitchen at that in order, making homemade juice was just one of those things. Mickey, get out of here, Mickey. Stop it. There's nothing there. Right? Well, no time like the present. So I'm going to do blackberry cranberry juice and see what we get. Plus I got peach crystals if I want. I've got tang crystals if I want. Yeah. And I've even got grape crystals, I should, downstairs in Auntie ShaMay's room, but that's in a different spot that you have to dig to get to. So they should be there. Big box full, which I wouldn't mind using, but besides that point. So, I find that these lamb bones actually have a fair amount of meat on them. Look how much meat is on there. That's a lot. But we want the collagen, so you need a bit of meat of some kind. Yeah, that's a lot. Look how much. So I don't mind buying these. I kind of like them, honestly. There's a big one. I don't know. Yeah, they're all the same size. I got 2 packs, so I'm good. And then the 2 bones from the legs, which we'll get to in a minute. I'm putting those on the bottom. And then when I get the bones, I'm going to put the bones on the bottom and put those on top. So the meat doesn't just stick to the bottom of the pan. So I kind of, you know, put them like that, right? Instead of like that, right? Yeah. But for now, we'll just put them in there. I guess it doesn't really matter how you put them in there if you're going to start moving them around in again in a minute anyway. Alright. Toss them into the pot. So what's today? Monday? This will stew till tomorrow. Then I will strain it. Then I will put it in the fridge to see what we get in terms of how much collagen and how much grease. Depending on the amount of grease, I may degrease it a bit. Right? So that means I'd probably be canning it, well, either tomorrow, which I might not because I'm pretty bagged. And I don't want to kill myself doing this stuff because I'm already not feeling that great. And of course, as I do these things, there's an issue here because it's a non-functioning kitchen. So when these social workers show up, I'm going to tell them, in light of everything, and being that I've already been trying to get out of this house, it's not like I didn't try. I even suggested with Rhea to move in with me into a different house so the kids as a whole could have own rooms and yada yada yada. It was just a matter of working out the logistics and being able to trust each other with our space and our belongings, and obviously that didn't work out. That's not my fault. I shouldn't be punished for that. And since they offered to put in an application for emergency subsidized housing, you can go ahead and do that. What emergency means? Well, at the rate things are going, if you want me out that bad, or you want this, then move me into a different location where I actually have a functioning freaking kitchen, yada 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 yada. And as that's happening, I'll liquidate whatever I want before I get to that location. Otherwise, I'm working my way out, and nobody has a right to steal my shit. I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm not doing anything wrong. If anything, I'm doing everything right. Right? Okay, so I might be overcooking it now. Might be. Again, I can't see color, so I don't know. All I know is I'm just trying to brown it a bit. And then we're going to swing it because the stove is lopsided. With the element like that, it doesn't help. Alright, so now we want to go get the legs. Okay, because I'm not familiar with this pan. I got cold water because I ain't putting no, what is that? hot tap water into this food. Never do that, especially with copper pipes and those kind of, any kind of pipe really, because of the heavy metals. But it's mainly with to do with the heavy metals, with the copper pipes and with the you know, coming. Okay, whatever. Whatever. So I got a little bit of water here. Maybe I should just turn it down a bit. I don't know. What happened if I put a bit of water? That's not so bad. Okay. Because you want to cook it with a bit of water, I would think, right? I don't know. I don't know what it's doing. I can't see. So this is why I don't like to cook that much anymore. Outside of, only because I know how, right? It's not because I can see it. When you can't see it, it kind of takes the fun out of it. It's true. Yeah. Okay. So, because this will drip back into itself, right? I mean, obviously it's going to lose fat from the meat itself. I don't know why this burner is so off its rocker here, but anyway. Alright. $43. I am definitely phoning up the company tomorrow. And I'm going to complain. Because if I would have known that, I wouldn't have bought it. I was trying to avoid $11.99 a pound. I didn't want to pay. I didn't even want to pay $9.99 a pound for lean ground beef. Or $8.99 for medium ground beef. So why the hell would I pay $11.99 for that? I wouldn't. But they switched it up on me. Okay, so now we take this beautiful lid, and as that water is now going to start, the condensation comes and it starts to accumulate, it will drip it all back in. Now, I have to put some garlic or something in there, but I will do that in a little bit. For now, we're just going to put that there. I guess we'll put it on 3 and see what happens. And then we can take this, we'll put that in there for now. Now I think I'm going to have to take this leg, I'm not sure here. Take this leg and put it, cut it in the sink. Maybe it might be bloody, I'm not sure. Do you see how I have to deal with this stupid shit? Yeah. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the meat into a metal pot, so when you put it in the fridge, it's really, really cold. I'm getting that, you know, off the burners, right? I'm afraid to open this. I wonder how bloody it is. It's tuna. Hold on. Okay, I'm really struggling here. Nose is running, everything. Between the spices and the, you know, the elements and the grease. Okay, look at that. I think it's still somewhat frozen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut it. I'm going to try this one first. Alright, I don't know. Just start cutting. I don't care. Maybe try this. I don't know. I think it's still frozen. I bought it yesterday. In some ways that's good, in some ways it's not. What happened to that other knife? I don't know. I don't know what knife I was using. Let's try this one again. All we have to do is just take it off the bone. I don't need to do much more with it right now because I'm not going to be using it. Although I like to, when I'm at this point, when I'm doing this kind of stuff. I like to do the prep work. Cut into squares, do whatever. See, this is where I can't see. I can't see where I started to cut, so I have to try and feel for the line. This is where you have to use your fingers. you know, your other senses, I suppose. Like, I don't even know how much meat is on this thing. I have no clue. Be careful what you're doing here, Judy. You don't want the knife to slip, right? No. I don't know. I don't know how much meat is on this thing. I'm not doing very good. I am not doing very good. Let's try this one. Maybe this is the one I was using. Okay, let's hold it up and try it this way. Start further up. See if we... Oh, sure. As if that's going to work. That doesn't work. That doesn't do a damn thing. Oh my god. This isn't working, people. This isn't working. Okay, I just want some chunks of meat. Give me some meat. Oh. Ew. Oh my god. Oh, this is pathetic. Okay. Yeah, somewhere now. I just have to be careful that the knife doesn't slip on me when I slice something important on my body. See, I feel like I'm coming into a bone there, and I probably am. Oh, it's cold. Oh, that's for sure. That's a bone. I don't know how it's put together. It's not like chicken. Oh my god. This is harder than I thought. I thought it would be easy. Yeah. Ah, I guess you learn something new every day. Yeah. Oh. You gotta be strong for this. Oh boy. That's crazy. I mean, it's somewhat frozen, not completely though. The deeper you get in, you know, it's a little more frozen, but it's like fish. You want to cut fish when it's half frozen. It cuts better. Obviously, whatever's in the broth, I'll be canning up, so it's not like it's going to go to waste. Right? It won't. It's just, I wanted to sear some of this. You know, cook it just halfway through before I can it. Ooh, it's cold, cold. I haven't gotten very far with this. Look at that. Jeez. This is bad. I got two things going against me here. I can't see very well. And honestly, I'm not strong enough for this. I just feel like there's another bone in there. It doesn't want to go through. Whew. Doesn't help when it's cold either. Oh boy, this is not going to work. Not what I was thinking. I'm not happy with this. Now, in a situation like this, this is where you probably would uncook it, roast it, so it comes off the bone easy. But then you're not gonna, you're gonna have to wait for that bone to make that collagen broth, but it's not gonna be as good. No. Where you have a better chance of getting a better bone broth with collagen in it if you do it the way What?
Marquez needs me to go get tomatoes.
Tomatoes?
Yeah.
There's tomatoes right there. I just bought some.
Okay, at least I don't have to go to the store then.
No.
I don't want to walk.
Give them 2 of the round ones and 2 of the new Romano. That's 4. That's enough. They're brand new. They came in today. Can't fucking bitch about it. I need you watching Amari. Can't be running off to the store right now. Kind of busy, you can see that. I'm not doing a very good job with it either.
They're back.
Murray, stop it!
Oh, shut up.
Boy, I wish you could do this. Close that door.
Why?
I don't want it open. Leave the cat outside. Close the window. I don't want her in. She's getting under my feet. She's hungry.
Okay, well, Willie can come in. She's been crying out there.
Lock it. I'll deal with that in the next day or 2 or 3. I don't give a shit about these fucking social workers.
Okay, let's see if there's a package up there. There is not. So it'll probably come tomorrow. Ooh, that's the best. Never mind, that's not brisket.
That's my Oh, he needs to be changed. Please change him.
No!
Well, then do it.
Yeah, I was doing that.
Oh, is that? I thought that blinked out. Sorry, I stopped talking because I thought the camera went out. I'm serious. I thought the camera went out. I guess not. I don't know what the heck I was hearing. I'm freezing my hands. Well, at least it's not bloody and getting juice everywhere. That's okay. It's a one-time deal anyway, at least for now. I'm just not strong enough. No. I feel like I'm at I don't know. I'm at a gristle or something. I don't know what I'm at. I can't see it. I can kind of feel a bone in there. whether it's a knuckle or not. I don't know. You got to be careful, because if you're trying to snap a knuckle, and then, you know, there's the accident, right? Oh my God, call 911. Judy needs a gurney. Well, what was she doing? I don't know. She was playing with a leg of lamb. Yeah. She wasn't doing what she was supposed to be doing. Well, what was she supposed to be doing? Well, she was supposed to be running around the house like a chicken without her head on, because the mean old social workers were showing up in a few days from now. And she had to perform and jump through the hoops and have that ball on the nose and clap her hands like a seal and bark. Ball, ball, ball. Yeah. No, but she wanted to play with a leg of ham. Bitch deserves what she gets. Blame it on the Chorney gene. I have more dry humor than I do have a sense of humor. My humor is more dry. Only because I have an analytical mind that's always looking for justice where there's no justice to be found. I don't know what the heck is preventing me from going through this. Oh my God, but my hands are freezing. I'm just not strong enough for this. And there's got to be a knuckle in here, and I just don't see it. Well, I don't. So let's try and cut around it. Come on. You're all going down one tube anyway. Oh boy. What a chore this is. I'll be exhausted by the time I'm done 2 of these. Oh yeah. Okay, I don't care. Just get off, get off. Oh, sure. I trumped Latrice Allen with her boxed hash browns. Well, no, mashed potatoes, I should say. I plan on probably putting potatoes in that after or something. I'm not sure yet. I want to see what the meat turns out to be in terms of that brisket, but this is not working, people. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I don't know. I don't know where the meat is. Where the bone, I don't know where the bone is. I don't know where the bone ends. Oh my God. Some of it's just turning into ground lamb. Okay, just go this way. Go to the path of least resistance. Right? Just not strong enough. I'm sure when it's all said and done, I'll have no regrets. Oh my God. Come on. Path of least resistance. See, you can hear the bone. I can hear it. I can't see it though. It's bone. It's on a knuckle, but I don't know where the damn knuckle is. I'm gonna have to rest my hands on this. Cold. Oh my God. This is pathetic. Pathetic, pathetic, pathetic. I have an axe. I bought an axe for this kind of stuff. But it's in a small bathroom. It would be very hard to get to. Oh my God. Can you believe this? I don't know what to do. I kind of see the knuckle, but I don't know how to bust it. I don't know how to bust it, man. Oh my God. I don't want to do the whole thing. That's not the way I wanted to do it. No, you see, if I had a son, I could call my son to come and help me, but That ain't gonna happen. No, no, no. Okay, I gotta turn off this camera, wash my hands, and then just think about this for a minute. Oh, I have cleaver. Hold on a minute. Okay, so we're gonna give Canadian Superstore the benefit of the doubt. The lamb was a good deal. No regrets. That's all meat. That's a lot of meat. It came in at $6.99 a pound. That's maybe where I read in terms of, okay, what's the average weight in terms of, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's 2.5 kg up to 3 kg. Okay, maybe that's it. And because I refused to pay $8.99 a pound for medium ground beef, which I don't even like to buy ground beef. Never mind pay $8.99. I'd rather wait for roasts to go on sale, just your straight up sirloin roasts at $6.99 or $7.99 a pound, and grind them up myself. Yeah. And oh, it's so good too. Right? Because all you have to do is buy a different kind of meat that's got a little, like, you know, different beef that has more fat in it, and then just grind that in and then blend the two together, and it works really, really well. Now I have to do this now because I ain't gonna muck with this tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm debating what I should do with this. Right now I'm taking off the fats. Where am I? There we are. That can render lard. So I'll get some lamb lard out of this yet. Right? Don't ask me where I'm going to put it, but, and then basically what I'm doing, because I am putting them in 250 ml jars, preferably weighed in after the fact. Now, if I cook it a little bit, however I decide to cook it, I'll be able to probably get more in the jar. So I'm making them about, I don't know, anywhere between 1/4 to 1/2 inch in size. And I'm separating them, right? Like you know, I got the pot there, so I'm going to be standing here. Now the nice thing about this stuff, well, I don't know, I don't see that well, but from what I could tell, what I could feel, it tends to have a lot of tendons, and that's where there's a lot of different kind of nutrients, right? And yeah, I basically used the pumpkin carver. These little ones, they're the best. They can get real close to the bone. Yeah, they can. So obviously I'm leaving on some things. There are a few tendons in here, which is good. So I'm just basically cutting them into small little cubes to one degree or another, and then get it in the fridge as fast as I can. This is going to take a while, right? But it will be worth it in the end. Now, yeah, in terms of the brisket, it probably was $11.99 a pound, because I took the middle road. That's what happened. I took the middle road in terms of I wasn't going to pay $9.99 a pound for what is that called? Lean ground beef. I wasn't going to pay $10.99 a pound for extra lean ground beef. And I sure in the heck wasn't going to pay $8.99 a pound or whatever it was for medium ground beef. I don't care. I'm just not. So, but I'm not going to pay $14.99 a pound, $13.99 a pound, $21.99 a pound, and so on for all the different cuts. So I guess when I seen $11.99 for brisket, and I was remembering when that brisket came in like that, big Right, remember those videos? Now that was worth it. That was good. I got a lot of tallow out of that, the whole 9 yards. This, I don't even know what the hell's in there, but it's not very much, not worth $43, but I guess I decided to go to the middle road. Because I was basing it on my experience with the last time I bought brisket, because brisket isn't something that I ever really cooked with. Right? And I thought, well, $9.99 a pound, okay. Maybe that's how that all came about. Because this was $6.99. Look at that. Look at that. That's straight up. Where am I? There I am. That's a straight up chunk of meat. Huh. That's pretty good. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with this. I really am. But it's going to get me into trouble with stupid social workers because I got shit on my fucking floor. And I didn't get out in the porch yet because it's going to be a grimy, dirty job. Because it's not just the porch. The way I gotta do the porch is I need to get up early in the morning. Or like, not early, well, that's the problem. I get up too damn early. I need to get outside at like 10 in the morning. 10:30, no later than 11. And then pretty much work till dark. And by the time I come in, I'll be sopping wet, freezing, filthy. Yeah. Because it's not just the porch. There's other things I have to do out there. That's all related. Because, you know, he threw all that shit over the edge and stuff. And I have to wash the porch down. And, you know, that's not even really getting into the X Club. That's a different day. And that's going to be a dirty day. Yeah, and cold too, because it's cold now. Right? Yeah. So, they'll be like harassing me. Who knows? I don't know. I'm doing what's important here. This was important. I wanted to do this a while ago. Right? Came on sale. I took the opportunity. I have the jars. I want to just get it over with. I don't want to be canning too much over the winter. I really don't. I'm tired. You know, I want a little bit more normal life myself. I don't need girls my age, the daughter, like the ages of my daughters, or I don't care who it is, telling me how to live my life and what my priorities are and whatever. No way. Get rid of my belongings I've had for years, and storage will just ruin it, and
Excuse me.
never be able to sell anything. So, and yeah, I'm on that highway in my mind. I'm already on that highway in my mind. And you know I'm not going north. You know it. Nope. And that's really sad. To be even thinking about stupid shit like that. Did you get it?
Get what?
Your package.
No.
No?
No. Starting to think she didn't order it.
I don't know. I'm surprised you haven't phoned her. Are you trying to be polite and not badger?
Yeah.
Well, that shows maturity on your part. Now, if you could just do that with me, that'd be great. Yeah, straight up meat. Now this, it's different. It's a different kind of fat. So I'll leave it in there because I'm probably gonna, I don't know, maybe I'll take it in a wok. Maybe I'll stir fry it in a wok or something. Because whoa, don't fall on the floor. I kind of feel like I need to, I don't know. I don't want to stew it. I'm not trying to stew it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Oh, I'll be so tired tomorrow. I'll just heat it up, cook it fast as I can. Yeah. Let it cool down and then put it in jars. Now, I had to charge this battery again, so it's not going to last very long. It'll probably kick out Now, some of this stuff you want in your jar is fatty, but it's more like getting, it's not really a fat. And if you cook it up a little bit first, you'll sear off a little bit of it. It's not like that other one. The other one can go into a lard state. This one, no, not so much. And you want a little bit of fat in these jars because not only does it taste good, but it provides extra nutrients. Right? And for a Mari, lamb is a little easier to digest. And it's cheaper than beef on sale. Well, beef comes in at $6.90. Well, the last time beef was on sale, they had it on at $7.99. It used to be $5.99, then it was $6.99, and then the last time they had the beef on the sale, it was $7.99. That's when you want to spend your $400 on beef. And process it any way you want. Yeah. In terms of grinding it up and making a hamburger, but it's just if you do that, you have to buy something with a little bit of fat for that hamburger texture and hamburger taste. So I'll definitely be cooking this up a little bit. How? I'll cross that bridge tomorrow. These bones are going to start cooking pretty soon, as soon as I get this done. And they'll cook all night. Yeah. Well, this will sit nice, snug in a bug in the fridge, all ready to go. Now, because it's so fatty, honestly, after I cook it, the bones, that is, cool it, strain it, take your meat off your bones, yada da yada. And then the broth itself, though, really should go in the fridge to let the grease separate from the water and rise to the surface. And if you think it's too much, just take some off. It depends. Because there's, you know, different kinds of fats. Not everything releases a lot of grease. Right? You don't know until you're done. And you can cook with that as well, if you wanted to. Or freeze it and then cook with it. Okay? I'm just saying. You don't have to throw it out. Yeah. So yeah, about a half an inch, so just little pieces, whatever. I am going to try and weigh it out. That's the nice thing about doing it raw. It's easier to weigh out, but depends, I suppose. Depends on how much you cook it. Because if you cook it too much, what happens is it tightens up at first. You know, it tightens up, it becomes kind of hard. I don't want that. I want it to be half cooked. So I'll probably maybe half cook that. That's why it's you need to kind of deep fat it before you process it. No rhyme to the reason here. And of course I'm still using this small knife. I wonder if this one of these ones will work better. Let's try this one now that I'm on a different. Oh my God. See? It can't cut through the skin. No. This one's tough. So we'll just take that off and maybe put it in there. Maybe there's part of a cartilage or something. Yeah, maybe. Now you can have larger chunks. You can go an inch and put it in a pint-sized jar and get a little more. But I got 24 salmon. Oh yeah, sure. Slice your finger, Judy. Pay attention. It's because I can't see. And these blades are kind of funky. Right? In terms of... I'm doing pretty good. For a blind woman, I'm doing pretty good. So I figure when I leave, the only thing that's going to be a real problem is my medication for my eyes. But when you got a doctor telling you if you don't bring down the pressure, the next 2 months you're going to be blind, like in this eye. Okay. So I'm using those drops, but he hurt my eye. Yeah, it really hurts, still. So I'm going blind anyway, so what difference does it make? Go blind in the States, go blind here, what's the difference? In terms of, don't let that stop you. From doing what you think is right. And sticking around for this shit is not right. No. And you know, people don't think I'll do it. She's just talking hot air. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. So I'm going to be here for a while. But that's okay. So when you're getting into kind of like a skin, it's okay. You can keep that. But that's where you kind of want to sear it just a bit. But this is actually, no. See, that's a different, do you see that? That's, no, you don't want that in your jar too much. A little bit, okay maybe, but not too much. So better to try and cut that out. And you can render that separately. You can render that separately. Different kind of fat. Okay, I gotta turn this camera off. And there's another thing about this little knife. I can see, well, I can't see, but I can feel it. Look how nice that came off. I'm telling you, that's the secret. And of course, if you're going to render, the smaller the better. It should be smaller than that, but I ain't got time. If you can grind it up, that's even better. Yeah. So definitely impressed with this. And now that I know, the next time it goes on sale, if I'm around, I'll probably buy one just to cook up and eat with the kids. Yeah. That'd be good. And what we don't eat, then I freeze it. And then Andre can make gravy. Oh, and that's another thing. My son wants me to empty out the playroom. Okay, so where do I put all my costumes? Where do I put all my stuff that I bought for the grow room that was downstairs and you guys threw it out? That's hundreds of dollars worth of shit right there. Where do I put my clothes that are in there in terms of the closet and the jacket and just whatever's in there at this point in time? Where do I put all the homeschool stuff? Where do I put my 300 and some odd dollar, what is that called? Sausage maker. He told me to sell it a long time ago. I said, no. Hell, I just spent $80 on books to use that thing. And he wants me to just get rid of it. Whatever. I don't think so. I bought stuff in there like with beeswax and stuff to I wanted to do it with ShaMay and Ciera. Just, you know, make slabs and stuff like that. But I haven't had a chance. But it's there. Everything's there. Alright, I bought wicks for the candles, but honest to God, I don't know where my wax is. The big block of white wax. Because they threw it out. They took it outside somewhere. They did something with it. Probably gave it away. So what was the point of buying the wicks for? That's what I mean. Stupid. Oh, you want me to take out the deep freeze that's in there? I don't think so. All the kids' stuff? Everything? No. If that's the case, I'm leaving. I'm fucking leaving. I'm leaving. If I decide to sell some of that stuff over the next course of the year or whatever it is, as I'm figuring things out, then so be it. But that's the only way it's going to leave my possession. Unless I decide to give it away. And I'd try and sell it first before I'd give it away. And that's my right. Some of that stuff I've had before Marcane was even born. Yeah. So yeah, this fat, it just kind of pulls out. Do you see? That's the kind that you make lard with. And this knife is so fine, it's easy to work with when it comes to just getting it off the meat. Yeah. Now, I could put some rosemary in the bones and cook it like that, but because I kind of want to, right? Rosemary leaves, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to add a bit of salt. Because you can always add the rosemary if you really wanted it, I suppose, in your meal. I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'll see how I feel after it's all said and done. And I get them in, you know, they're in the bowl, they're in the pot now, but I haven't turned it on yet. I want to get this in the fridge as fast as I can. Yeah. But yeah, no, my eye hurts. The doctor, he hurt my eye. But I'm not going to let that stop me. Mm-mm. Nope. Andre said, how can you get to this stage? I said, I'll hire a coyote. A coyote? I said, yeah. Where are you going to find a coyote? I said, don't you worry about that. I'm sure I'll find one. And then they'll try and lock me up under their corrupt law that they have in BC, where they're locking up people illegally, like they did Uncle John. Only the BC Liberal government, or sorry, the NDP, the NDP, we're with the NDP. This last election, they brought in a bill to make it easier to lock up people in this province. Yeah. So what, they're going to lock me up because I go to the States and I don't want to come back to a country that I'm afraid to live in, and I'm sick and tired of the corruption? Tired of being a sitting duck? I don't think so. If I was crazy, I wouldn't be doing stuff like this. Because you know I'm doing it all for the right reasons. All for the right reasons. More than anybody's done for Amari. Yeah. Okay, I gotta figure out a way to turn off this camera. And then just take that tallow fat and just cut it up small at the same time. Put it in a separate container. I will more than likely render that tomorrow in a little cast iron pot that I have, that I bought for Amari. It depends how much is here after it's all said and done. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this video and then we'll start fresh with, I guess, when I can, the lamb. What's happening is I cut it all up into little pieces. That was the better deal at $6.99 a pound. I feel happy with the lamb. No regrets there. And with the bones and the legs, bones in the pot, it's stewing. So by noon or so, maybe I'll leave it a little longer just to, right? Because I don't remember what time it was last night when they got into the pot. Maybe I'll leave it till about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I'll just let it cook for the afternoon. We'll just play it by ear. Because they're bones, right? And then I'll, do whatever and put the broth in the fridge and let it sit for the night so that tomorrow I can them. I get up in the morning and that's what I'm going to do. That's the big chore for the day, is to can everything related to the lamb. In the meantime, I'm sitting here thinking, trying to get motivated. My hip is a little sore today, so it's just a little bit. I don't want to provoke it, but, I'm putting in long hours and I'm on my feet and, I'm bending and whatever and whatever and whatever. Stop fussing. You were fine until I started talking. Seriously. It's 7:38 a.m. in the morning and he's been up since... Well, I kind of woke him up because he was leaking out and I had to change him. And that was around 5 in the morning or so. And so I changed him, wiped him down, da-da-da-da-da-da, gave him a bottle, and he's been playing. Now he's whining, so let me go check on him. Yeah, hip is definitely sore today. Hurts to walk. I want to do some cooking today. That brisket, when it was warm, I didn't like it. But Andre ate some, and he said it was good. He really liked it. And then he put it in the fridge for me, because by that time I'm crashing, right? So Andre just put everything in the fridge, so he did. And I grabbed a little piece of it, because he didn't eat the fat, what he took. And I'm like, what's that on the plate? He goes, a fat. And I like the fat. No, I don't like it. I said, well, you will when you're older. I like it. So I nibbled on some fat, and it was so good. So I went in the fridge, and I grabbed a piece of meat. And by that time, it was a little cooler. It was good. So because it was good, I guess it was worth spending $43 for at that time. I don't think it was any cheaper than $11.99 a pound. I just think I went with that because I was just, I wanted comfort food, beef. But I didn't want to pay $14.99, and I didn't want to buy a hamburger, so I went with the middle road. And, but for $43, like, seriously, it's better to wait for these things to be on sale and buy it then. Whether you buy it and freeze it, buy it and can it, or whatever you're going to do, it's just better to buy it in bulk when it's on sale. And that's why the lamb at $6.99 a pound was worth it. Because, I got a fair amount. Plus I, got the bones and everything. Well, at least the leg bones. I bought the other bones, the soup bones, separately. But either or, it was worth what I paid for, in my opinion, considering how much everything costs these days. Okay, that was the better value. Okay, so that's the first thing, right? And we know that I'll be canning it tomorrow. So when the social workers come, there's going to be canning jars all over the place. Right? And whatever miscellaneous crap on the floor. The stuff I can't hide fast enough. I'm just saying. Or whatever. Like, it's not going to matter in this house, okay? And with that said, shut up. Like, seriously, man, stop it. Okay? I'm sitting here and I'm thinking. And I'm thinking about court. Because my son is doing the same thing that he did when the city showed up. He was an opportunist. He took that opportunity to wipe out the yard, saying that he was going to look after it, when technically he doesn't, because I'm the one that had to pay people to pull Morning Glory. I've pulled Morning Glory. Andre's pulled Morning Glory, but he never has, like throughout the summer, right? Andre mows the grass. He doesn't mow the grass. The grass needs to be mowed now, but he won't mow it. Andre was so, like, for as much as you did and what you did, as you were sneaking around throwing out other stuff, it's just your bad attitude. Have one on Mom. Okay. Like, you didn't tell Mrs. Gill I needed that wood to repair this and repair that and do this. You just said, oh, get rid of everything. That's what they said. It's not my fault. I'm just doing what they told me to do. Well, yeah, it's because you're fucking stupid. And not only are you not stupid, but you're not only are you stupid, but you're not the one that, fix this shit out here. You don't need the wood. You don't use it. You never have. But I have. I'm just using that as an example, right? You didn't go off and buy a new water hose. I did. Anytime you want a water hose, you take mine. And then I have to go buy another one. Like, go figure, right? And technically, Mrs. Gill should be buying those water hose, because the only reason he needs a water hose is to set up a sump pump, a little pump. It's not even a sump pump. We don't even get a sump pump. We just get a freaking cheap pond pump, so that when the garage floods, that's what pumps out the water out to the alley with my hose. Whatever. Shut up! Okay? Nana's cranky today. Stop, it's whining. That's called whining. Stop whining. You've been changed. Everything. Your clothes were changed. Your diaper was changed. Your blankets were changed. You got a bottle. You got your singing bear. Like, come on, smarten up. Yeah, and, I'm like thinking strategy. I don't care if people know my next move, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be what it's going to be, right? You know how they say move in silence? Yeah, right. Move in silence. So, you know, if I go to the province, like the provincial court, not the Supreme Court, to the provincial court, if it gets like, if they think these people, I don't care if it's my son, social workers, fucking whoever, coming in and wanting me to throw out my clothes and my jewelry box after Rhea robbed it, because it's in the hall. I've been taking stuff out of my room, and I got the diaper boxes filled up with all the videos that my son threw out 3 times already, that Andre and I rescued 3 times, in the hall. Stop it! And I'm thinking to move them from the hall in the box onto a bookshelf over here, up by the electric drums, after I take out those books, which are all homeschooling books for the most part. It's all homeschooling. Hold on a minute. He's just gonna keep talking. It's the whining that gets on my nerves. He knows I'm talking. This is a new milestone with him. Because when I turn off the camera, I tell him to shut up, be quiet. No talking. He'll calm down and he'll just... But now he's starting his whining again because he hears me talking. Stop whining! You can talk, but no whining. Yeah, no whining. Nobody has a right to tell you to get rid of a $350 sausage making machine that you haven't used yet because you can't put it downstairs. Because you've been evicted from your house in the basement by a brute. Using that as an example. Nobody can tell you to get rid of bins of craft material and art material because it got evicted from the basement by a brute. When in fact, some of that stuff should be downstairs, where it was before it came upstairs. Nobody can tell you to empty out a deep freeze full of food because they want to empty out a room on an assumption that it's going to be used when in fact it's not. I'm just using that as an example. You going to give me $2,000 worth of meat that's sitting up in that freezer after you take everything out and the freezer, which is an $800 freezer, stand-up freezer? I don't think so. I'm just using that as an example. So, being that I'm being evicted from my home one way or another, if it's not the city of Surrey, are you listening to him? With my landlord and my son helping them, now it's the social workers with my son helping them. Only this time I'm not just going to stand around and listen to it. Are you listening to this? Stop it! You stop! Control yourself! Stop being so needy for attention! Oh, now you're laughing. Oh, yeah. You think so, eh? You're laughing now. And I'm tired and irritated. So it's like nails. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Right? Oh my God. So yeah, go to the provincial court and put in a motion as if you were being evicted, instead of going to the Landlords and Tenancy Act branch to put a halt on whatever it is that's happening, so that it can be reviewed by a judge to see if it's even lawful, right? And just do it in the provincial court, somehow, some way. And if it gets ugly, leave. Just walk away. Because it's just going to keep getting uglier and uglier and uglier. It's not going to get any better. And remove yourself from the toxicity and fight for whatever it is that's most important, which would be to get my grandkids out of Canada, because they'll forever be targeted by these types of individuals that cause crises. Yeah. So that they can get off on it one way or another. Because in the end, they're going to drop Amari like a hot potato as soon as he turns a certain age. That will be it. No looking back. The one that destroyed Ciera, set up Andre for failure, Maybe she's still working for the Ministry of Children and Family Development as a CPS, child protection social worker, taking more and more kids. Maybe Andre was her first. Andre was her first. Do you think Andre was her last? No. She's probably on number 500 by now. Yeah. What's her excuse? Yeah. It employs a lot of people. Keeps the freaks fed. So, I might try that first. See what happens with that, if it comes to that. Small claims court. Something. Right? If you don't stand up for yourself, nobody's going to stand up for you. Just remember that. Right? October 14th, 2025, 8:01 a.m. in the morning, while YouTube continues to shadow ban my channel, right? Because you know this is related to being shadow banned. Okay? Because it's not AI generated.